Now, last lesson now we have started to look at the menstrual cycle. Okay, first we look at the function of the male sex hormone and female sex hormone. So the male sex hormone is the testosterone, and the female sex hormone is the estrogen and progesterone. Okay, first of all, you need to know their function. Okay, so estrogen got two functions. Okay, one is to stimulate the repair and growth of uterine lining after menstruation. The other function is to stimulate ovulation. And in order for them to do that, the estrogen level have to increase to a higher level. Okay, I have given you a set of notes. Okay, you need to know how to sketch that graph. Okay, sketch that graph. So later we will look at it. I will briefly go through with you. Then function of progesterone, stimulate the maintenance of the uterine lining in a thick and spongy state. Okay, and usually this is after ovulation. Okay, so progesterone levels will have to increase to a higher level in order for this to happen. Okay, so then we already started looking at the different stages of the menstrual cycle. You start with menstruation, repair and growth of the uterine lining. Okay, the uterine lining is also called the endometrium. Okay, that is another word which you would have encountered in the notes that I have given to you. Okay, it's called the endometrium. Okay, usually you don't really see this word in combined science bio. Okay, but you see this in your science textbook, so bio textbook. So I have to mention this. Okay, now last lesson I already mentioned. Uterine lining and the endometrium is a layer of tissue. Okay, it's a layer of tissue that is found on the uterus, on the inner surface of the uterus. And it is the uterine lining that is broken down and discharged during menstruation. Okay, so menstruation, did I talk about menstruation? Yes, I talked about it. Okay, so during menstruation, the uterine lining will be broken down and it will be shed. Okay, and what will be shed, okay, will include blood and broken down tissue. Okay, so in menstruation, why is it that ladies need to wear sanitary pads during menstruation? Because of the discharge. Okay, discharge of what? So it will have broken down tissue. Okay, broken down uterine lining. Okay, then of course in the uterine lining you have blood vessel. So inside blood vessels you have blood. Okay, so obviously during menstruation there will also be discharge of blood. Then menstruation will only happen if there is no fertilization in the previous menstrual cycle. Okay, menstruation will only occur, okay, if there is no fertilization. Menstruation will occur if there is no fertilization in the previous menstrual cycle. Okay, because if there is fertilization, then the menstruation will not happen because the zygote, the embryo, okay, the zygote will undergo cell division to form your embryo, and then this embryo will implant into the uterine lining, and it will stay there. Okay, growth and development of the embryo will occur for the next 9 months. So the pregnant lady will not have any menstruation during that 9 months of pregnancy. Okay, only after delivery of the baby, then the menstrual cycle will start. Okay, again, then subsequently the lady will then continue to have menstruation every menstrual cycle. If not during that pregnancy, should not have menstruation. Because the moment she has menstruation, it means that it is a miscarriage. Okay, so the embryo can only stay alive if it is implanted in the uterine lining. Okay, I will talk more about that. So menstruation will occur if there is no fertilization in the previous menstrual cycle. Then this breaking down will happen. Why is it that I'm talking about this? Because the discharge during menstruation will also contain the dead ovum. Okay, the ovum, if it is not fertilized, it will not be able to stay alive. Okay, it will actually be how should I say, it will also be discharged, okay, together with the broken down tissue and blood during menstruation. Okay, sorry, what are the causes of miscarriage? Okay, there are many reasons that can cause miscarriage. Okay, one of the most common one is the female sex hormone, especially the progesterone level, cannot maintain at a certain level, because the moment the progesterone level drops below a certain level, this will not happen. Okay, so you need to remember the function of the progesterone is to stimulate the maintenance of the uterine lining in the thick and spongy state. So the moment the progesterone level drops below a certain level, the uterine lining will not be maintained in a thick and spongy state. That means some menstruation will happen. Okay, so one of the causes of miscarriage can be the female sex hormone, especially the progesterone level drop. Okay, so during pregnancy, the lady will need to go for regular checkup. Okay, will need to go for regular checkup. And one of the checkup will include blood tests, and then the blood test will check whether the level of the female sex hormone is at a certain level, healthy level. Okay, then during pregnancy, if the lady notice that there is blood, okay, discharge of blood from the female reproductive system, they need to go and see doctor immediately, because that is not normal. Okay, then of course you all heard of a lot of weird reasons that causes miscarriage, like eat pineapple don't know, eat what very cold stuff then we'll have miscarriage. Okay, all these are more towards the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine point of view. Okay, so for science, for biology, it's more towards the hormones level. Okay, so that is the one of the cause, the most common cause, which will be the change in the levels of the female sex hormone. Okay, now let's continue. So we were looking at menstruation. Okay, the different stages of menstrual cycle: menstruation, repair and growth of uterine lining, ovulation. So you need to roughly know what is the numbers of days. Okay, so this will be menstruation will be around day 1 to day 5. Okay, and repair and growth of uterine lining will be from day 6 to day 14. Okay, roughly, approximately. Okay, because different textbook or different guidebook, the days is different. Okay, then ovulation has to be on day 14. There is no approximation. Okay, it's in your syllabus, is day 14. Ovulation is on day 14. Okay, then the maintenance of the uterine lining in a thick and spongy state, this one will be from day 15, actually day 14 all the way to 28. Day 28. Because the menstrual cycle is 28 days in your syllabus. Okay, so this is for the menstrual cycle. Okay, so we are done with the menstrual cycle. The only thing that I want to go through now is the graph that I'm talking about. Okay, so the y-axis will be the levels of the hormone level or concentration of hormones in blood. Then this one, the x-axis will be the day. Okay, so obviously you will start with day 1 and end with day 28. Okay, then right at the center will be day 14. So when you need to sketch a graph, I draw the x-axis and y-axis, and then label the day 1, 28, 1, 14, and 28, so that it's easier for you to draw. Okay, so you need to know how the levels of the progesterone, the estrogen and progesterone changes. Okay, actually, day 5 will also be a good indication. Okay. So both hormones, maybe we start with estrogen first. Okay, estrogen, the level will only start to increase after menstruation. Okay, all ladies will have estrogen and progesterone, some estrogen and progesterone in the blood all the time. It cannot be zero. Okay, so please don't go and draw from the zero. Okay, it must be above zero. So maybe we start with estrogen. Okay, because during menstruation, estrogen is not needed. Only after menstruation, then the estrogen needs to stimulate the growth, the repair and growth of the uterine lining, right? Then estrogen stimulate ovulation. So you know that the estrogen level will start to increase after menstruation, and it will peak just before day 14. Okay, it will peak just before day 14. Then it will slowly decreases. Okay, it will slowly decreases until day 28, until the baseline level again. So it will decrease back to the baseline level. So this is estrogen. Okay, so I repeat again. Remember the function of the estrogen. Estrogen will start to increase. Estrogen level starts to increase after menstruation. Why? Because one of the functions of estrogen is to stimulate the repair and growth of the uterine lining. Okay, stimulate, repair and growth of uterine lining. Okay, then the estrogen level here, estrogen level will peak just before day 14. Just before day 14. Why? Because another function of the estrogen is to stimulate ovulation. Estrogen stimulate ovulation. Okay, so I repeat again, in your syllabus, you will be required to either sketch a graph showing the changes in the level of the estrogen, or they can ask you to describe the changes in the levels of the estrogen throughout the entire menstrual cycle. Okay, and I already teach you already. I start with the function of the estrogen. Why I start with the male and female sex hormones is because I want you all to know the function of the estrogen and progesterone first. Okay, before we learn menstrual cycle, so that is you can understand better. Okay, so this is how you sketch. Okay, so it will start to increase after menstruation, and then it will peak just before. Peak means at the highest level. When you see this word peak means highest level. Okay, peak just before day 14. Of course, you try to draw this peak as close as possible to day 14. Okay, because I don't have ruler, I just freehand draw. So I draw like this. Okay, like this is not wrong lah. It still looks correct. Okay, yeah. And next, you need to know how to draw the changes in the level of the progesterone. Okay, progesterone. So I know space already. I need to go to the next one. Okay, I think some of you still writing. Actually, you don't have a copy. This one is in your notes, plus the textbook also given to you. Okay, my purpose in class is to explain so that at least if you still don't understand by reading on your own, at least now I explain, hopefully it helps. Okay, yeah. Now, before I continue, if any one of you you don't need to listen to me teaching you. There are many sets of worksheet, past year exam paper given to you. So if you don't want to listen to me, can you do the worksheet? I don't want to see anyone sitting. Okay? Yeah, so make full use of your time. It will be a gradual one. Okay, if you look at your textbook, actually this part here I'm not very particular. Okay, as long as it decreases. Okay, in your textbook, sometimes you draw it it will draw a flat line, something along that line. Okay, when I mark, I look out for here and here. Okay, because it is linked to the function of the estrogen. Okay, what happens after that? Okay, of course it must still be accurate lah. You cannot draw weird lah. It should be decreasing until the baseline level. Okay, but it will not decrease immediately. Okay, it will be a slow and gradual one. Okay, so for this part here, can you all refer to your textbook? Okay, or refer to the notes. Okay, now let's look at estrogen now. Okay, likewise, estrogen, I also have to draw the X and Y axis first. So this is the concentration of hormones, in blood. And this is the day. Likewise, I start with 1 here, 0 here. Then again, 28, 14, and 5. Okay, by drawing all this individual days, okay, intermediate days, it helps your life better. Okay, it helps make it easier for you to sketch. Okay, so again, progesterone doesn't start with 0. As long as you are a female, you would have estrogen, some estrogen and some progesterone in your blood. Actually, even in guys, we may have estrogen and progesterone, but our levels will be very low, much lower than in the female. Okay, likewise in female, you may have some testosterone in your blood, but it will be very, very low level. Okay, so you will start with, okay, again like this. So it will also slowly increases, okay, but it will increase way slower, okay. Then it will peak after ovulation. Then it will very slowly go down. Okay? It will very slowly go down because of the function. Okay, it should peak after ovulation. Why? Because the function of progesterone. If you have any question, you can stop me. Don't be afraid. Okay, to ask question. Okay, so progesterone, remember the function is to stimulate the maintenance of the uterine lining in a thick and spongy state. Okay, to stimulate the maintenance of the uterine lining in a thick and spongy state. Okay, so you should draw it peaking after ovulation. It should be similar to the notes that was given to you too. Okay, let me take a look at the notes. Menstrual cycle. Did I send this to you? Not really, huh? Cannot remember. If not, you all just tell me. Then I will send to you. Hello. New share. Do you all see that? This is quite similar to what I've drawn. Okay. Actually wrong. Actually, I made a mistake. It actually remains quite low for until after. Okay, let's redraw it. Okay. Luckily, I double check. Okay, so it should remain quite flat. Then you will increase after. Then you will go down. Okay, so it will look something similar to this one. Okay, luckily I double checked. So do you realize that even for your bio teacher, the moment I remember the facts, the content wrongly, if I answer the question, I also get 0. Okay, so it's very important for you all to make an effort to remember the content. Okay, so this part I cannot remember very clearly. So just now I draw wrongly. Okay, but I double check. Okay, you see, I know when I'm not very sure about something. That's why I go and double check. Okay, so I repeat again. So the progesterone level, it will remain quite low at the baseline level. Okay, until after day 14, then it will start to increase, and then it will peak. Okay, in between day 14 and 28. Okay, then it will decrease back to normal. Okay, it actually here I should draw here very steep drop. Okay, so again, what is important is this thing here. Okay, the increase after ovulation starts to increase after ovulation. Okay, and peaking after ovulation. So roughly around in between day 14 and day 28. Okay, so you see it's actually in between day 14 to day 28. Okay, somewhere around that. Okay, so after ovulation. Okay, then the last part is on the HIV. Okay, HIV, I gave you all the worksheet already. Can you all please go and do it? Once we finish the syllabus, I will go through the worksheet. That is self-directed learning. I'm not going to spend time to talk about HIV. Okay. If not, I'm going to start on the heredity today already. Okay, we need to move on already. So, any question? No question. Okay, I just want to emphasize again for reproduction in humans, menstrual cycle is very important. It is a very popular concept that will be tested. Okay, now we are going to start with inheritance already. So inheritance is another one that will be quite confusing. if you forget what you learned in molecular genetics. By the way, I'm meeting some of you for consultation today at 3:30 to 4:30. So if any one of you want to join, you can join in. Okay. Okay, I emphasize again, if you all need help, please look for make appointment with your subject teacher and meet them. Okay, 4 to 6 is all right. Okay, I know before 4 p.m. you all have your own consultation, other consultation, but you can still make appointment to meet me after 4 p.m. Okay, I don't want a situation whereby I meet your parents in May and your parents make this comment, my child need help, no one help them. Okay, how come no consultation? How come no help? Okay, so I don't want to hear this type of things. So if you need help, okay, all of you have my number. You can make an appointment with me for consultation from 4 to 6. Okay. Okay, before I continue, some of you are like dying already. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I hope you all still remember DNA molecule is double-stranded. A DNA molecule is double-stranded. Okay, so you have strand number 1 and strand number 2. Now, then another thing that you should know is you should remember from a molecular genetics is each DNA molecule they contains genes. There are many genes found on a DNA molecule. Okay, like for instance, if I have gene 1, gene A here, okay, that means at the same locus in the second strand, it is also gene A. Okay, I'm starting to teach you something new already. You better stay with me. If not later you're lost, okay, you'll be lost for the whole chapter. Okay, this chapter, the moment you're lost, you'll be lost for the whole chapter. Okay, then if I have gene B, okay, if I have gene B here, then the same locus, I also have gene B. Now, I'm going to introduce you to this word, allele. Okay, alleles. Okay, what are alleles? Alleles are alternative form of the same gene. Alternative forms of the same gene. Okay, there is a definition in your textbook. Please go and remember the definition of allele that is found in your textbook. Okay, I am just touching on the main points. So alleles, they are alternative forms of the same gene. What do I mean by that? Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I have the color of the iris, gene. Okay, this is a gene. This gene controls the color of the iris. So you will have one allele that cause your iris to be blue in color. You can have another allele that cause the iris to be brown in color. Okay, or sometimes you might even see some Caucasian, they have green color eyes. Okay, so you might even have green allele. Okay, so these three alleles, they are alternative forms of the same gene. They all control the color, they all determine the color of the iris, but they give different color. Okay, So for instance, okay, I have gene A here and gene A here. So maybe this gene A can be brown allele. Then this gene A here may be blue allele. They are still the same gene, but they store the information to produce different color. Okay? This is the first example. Okay? Now, second example. Okay, second example, like maybe we talk about, okay, there are a lot of examples. By the way, color of iris is considered as a phenotype. It's a type of phenotype. Okay? Now, there is also gene that control the type of ear loop. Types of ear loop gene. Okay, so there is a allele that cause the ear loop to be attached. Attached ear loop allele. You have detached ear loop allele. Okay, if you don't believe, you just look around you. Okay, actually you can touch your own ear. Okay, some of you is attached, some of you is detached ear loop. Okay, this is the second example. Okay, there are many other examples. Like for instance, the eyelid. Whether you are single eyelid or double eyelid. Okay, there is a gene that control it. But single eyelid allele and then double eyelid allele. Okay, so do you all understand what is the meaning of alleles now? Now, so sorry. Certain alleles more common. Okay, very good question from Dylan. Whether a type of allele is more common in a population will depend on the selection pressure. Okay, like for instance, in our society, we think people with double eyelid are more good looking, right? Then we think that people who is taller, especially for guys, if you're taller, you're more attractive, right, to girls. Okay, so the tall allele and the double eyelid allele will be preferred. Okay, so that will be the selection pressure, because when female look for a husband, they will be looking for someone who is taller or someone with double eyelid. Okay, so this allele have a higher chance of getting passed down. How do they know? From your physical appearance, or whether you tall or short, the ladies will tell. Okay, how would the DNA know? No, the DNA will know. The DNA will know. It is in your DNA. But the female, when they look at you, they look at your physical characteristic. So they choose you if you're tall. And if you're tall, most likely you have the tall allele. Okay? So it's selection pressure. And long enough, if after 10, 20, or 1,000 generations later, the selection pressure stays the same, then most likely you won't see anyone with short. You won't see anyone with single eyelid anymore. No. Yes, that is like Darwinism is evolution. If the selection pressure stays for many generations. It's possible. A very good question from Kylie. Okay, Kylie, could you? Okay, so I'll answer her question. Okay, is it possible if both your parents are double eyelid? Is it possible for you to be single eyelid? Yes, I will teach you that. But I need to teach you some other concept first. Now, so allele got two types in your syllabus. In your syllabus, we are talking about complete dominance. Okay, there are other types of there are other types of dominance in allele which is not in your syllabus. So for your syllabus, we are looking at complete dominance. So in complete dominance, okay, you will have a dominant allele. You will have a recessive allele. Okay? Now, usually, dominant allele, we represent it with capital letter, represented by capital letter. Dominant allele represented, okay, maybe, right, wrongly. Okay, dominant allele represented by capital letter. Okay, just in case you don't know what is capital letter, example, capital B. Okay, then recessive allele is represented by small letter. Okay, so you have a small letter B. So in your syllabus, the moment they use a capital letter to represent the allele, you know that it is dominant. Okay? If they use small letter to represent the allele, you know it is recessive. So what do I mean by dominant and recessive? I know the next question you will ask this. Okay, but before I go into that, okay, now you see we can inherit either the dominant allele or the recessive allele from the parents. Okay, each of us will have two alleles, a pair of alleles. Okay, again, in your syllabus, usually we are dealing with two alleles only. One gene, two alleles. Okay, usually. Okay, there are exceptions. But in your syllabus, most of the time, you only look at one gene, two allele. So I emphasize again, in your syllabus, okay, we are dealing with one gene, have two alleles, usually have two alleles. Usually only have two alleles. Okay? Yeah. Then since you have two alleles, it is possible that father may, okay, so it can be a person, can be two capital B, or one capital B, one small letter b, or two small letter b. Okay? Can you don't yawn so loudly, I know my lesson not very interesting. Okay? Okay? So when will you get two capital B and so on? Okay? If I get capital B from father, I get capital B from mother. Okay? Or the other way around, I get capital B from mother, get capital B from father. It can be the other way around. Then this one, father give capital B, mother gives small letter b. It can also be the other way around. That means you get one capital, you get the dominant allele from one of the parents, you get the recessive allele from the other parent. Okay, then this one will be two capital B, two small letter b from both father or mother. Okay, so we will inherit one of our allele from father, one of the allele from mother. Okay, I'm still trying to answer, I still haven't answered Kylie's question. Okay, so because all these things you all need to know. Okay, then there's three different types of combination. It's called genotype. You have three different genotypes. So keyword, key scientific term, three different possible genotypes. Then again, you all ask me what are a genotype. There is a definition in your textbook. Please go and remember it. Okay, I will just tell you very simply. Genotypes basically is the combination of alleles. The combination of alleles. The combination, the different combinations of allele. the different combinations of alleles. Okay, can so two capital B, one capital B, one small letter b, or two small letter b, all these are genotypes. Okay, can? If they are the same, like two capital B, I call them homozygous. Homozygous. So this one is homozygous dominant. The other one, this one is homozygous recessive. When it is homozygous, you need to tell me dominant or recessive. If not, I wouldn't know. Okay? Then the one at the center, one capital B, one small letter b, I call this heterozygous. Okay? This is heterozygous. Okay? Now, finally, I can answer Kylie's question. Okay? Can I? So, yes. Very good question by Grace. If you write like this, I will mark you wrong. Always write the capital B first. Okay, I repeat again. Some of you argue with me. Well, like that and like that is the same. No, wrong. Not the same. Okay? In your syllabus, you can only write capital B first, followed by the small letter b. Okay? Very good question. So not all of you are sleeping. Okay? Actually, most of you are paying attention. Maybe some daydreaming. Okay, Joshua? Can I? Now, let's answer Kylie's question now. Okay? So she is asking about what? You say double eyelid, right? Double eyelid. Okay, very good. Okay, so maybe you see, let capital D represent double eyelid allele. And small letter d represent single eyelid allele. Okay, so here I am assuming double eyelid allele is dominant. I'm assuming single eyelid allele is recessive. But that may not be the case. Later we will look at the other way around, whether there will be a difference. So if parents, if father and mother, so Kylie is saying father is double eyelid. Okay, double eyelid. Mother also double eyelid. So the phenotype of the father and mother is double eyelid. So what is phenotype again? Phenotype is the expressed physical characteristic. Okay, so again, your textbook, there is a definition for phenotype. Please go and remember that. For now, I will just going to tell you it is the expressed physical characteristic. That means the physical characteristics that is shown, that is exhibited, but you don't change the word. You use exactly express physical characteristic, or you follow the stupid definition in the textbook. Okay? So I'm just explaining very to help you understand. So the phenotype of the father and mother is both double eyelid. Now, if double eyelid allele is dominant, what is the possible genotype of the father and mother? DD, of course D lah. DD, what DD? Capital D or small letter D? Dylan, both two capital. I'm asking you a question or you're asking me a question? Okay, now, if the father is double eyelid and the mother is double eyelid, the father can be homozygous dominant or it can be heterozygous. Then mother also, it can be homozygous dominant or heterozygous. because if double eyelid is dominant, it will be shown, it will be expressed even when there is only one allele. Even though only one of the allele is capital D, is the double eyelid allele. Okay? So what is dominant allele again? Dominant allele will be expressed in a heterozygous genotype. Dominant allele will be expressed in a heterozygous genotype. Heterozygous genotype means one capital D, one small letter d. Okay? And now, if both the father and mother is homozygous dominant, then the offspring can only be homozygous dominant. You see, if both the father and mother is homozygous dominant, all the offspring will be 2 capital D, will be homozygous dominant. So all the offspring will be double eyelid. All offspring double eyelid. By the way, this thing here that I draw is called the Punnett square. This one is in your syllabus. When you do MCQ question, you need your Punnett square. Okay, now let's look at the other possibility. If the father is heterozygous, the mother is heterozygous. Okay, this will be the combination. Okay, by the way, D and D. Okay, so this one and this one give me this capital D, small letter d, and this D here and this D. Okay, so you see, if the parents are heterozygous, then there is possibility 1/4 or 25%. 1/4 or 25% of the offspring will be single eyelid. Will be single eyelid. Okay, then 75% double eyelid. 75% of the offspring will be double eyelid. Okay, so I indirectly answer Kylie's question already. So if the double eyelid allele is dominant, and if the parents are both heterozygous, then it is possible to have offspring that is single eyelid. 25% possibility. Yes, skin color also controlled by allele. Yes. Why you laugh at it like that? Are you trying to be racist? Oh, okay. Okay. And now you see, there is other possibility. I'm not going to go through all. We only left 4 minutes. You can also have 2 capital D cross with this. Okay, still got one more possibility, third possibility. Okay, I may draw for you. Actually, only one more possibility only. Draw. Okay. So now, if one of the parents is heterozygous, the other one is homozygous dominant. This is the combination. This one also all offspring will be double eyelid. So it will depend on the genotype of the parents. Okay, it will depend on the genotype of the parents. Okay. Yeah. So Kylie, have I answered your question already? Very good. So Dylan give a very interesting example. Skin color can also be the case. Okay, but then skin color, can I do this? Can I say let capital S represent dominant allele, maybe represent brown allele? Then I let small letter s represent white allele. Should I do this? No, why not? Stingray. Very good. Okay. Stingray made a very, very good point. When you choose the letter to represent the allele, please avoid choosing letters which looks very similar, whether capital or small letter, because some of you, your handwriting already very fantastic. Okay. So your capital letter may look like capital S may look like a small letter S. Your small letter S may become a capital S. Okay, so avoid this type of letters. Okay, like O is another type. Okay, don't use all this letter to represent. Use letter that is very different. Capital and small letter very different. Okay, can? Very good. Only left 1 minute, so I have to stop already. Any question? Okay, this is a Punnett square. Punnett square. Punnett square is used to determine the possibility, the combination that is possible. Yeah. Now, actually, one more thing. Even though there may be a 25% chance whereby the offspring will be single eyelid, but it's possible. This couple, if they have 5 offspring, all 5 offspring will be double eyelid. Why? Sorry? Very good. Okay, Dylan, max concept is not bad. Probability is not bad. So he's saying that this 25%, it applies to every single offspring. The first offspring have a 25% of being single eyelid, 75% of being double eyelid. Then the second offspring also the same. Doesn't mean the first 3 is double eyelid, the 4th one must be single eyelid. Okay? Can So this is a probability. Okay? It's random. Because the sample size, if the sample size is very small, you will not see this ratio. Okay, actually, there's one more way to represent this. Double eyelid ratio. I can use ratio to represent versus single eyelid. Is 3:1. Okay. All offspring double eyelid, no ratio. Don't tell me ratio. I don't have ratio. Okay, only when you have 2, then you can form ratio. So there are 3 ways you can represent: infection, in percentage, or in ratio. Okay. Today very good. We should be able to finish this chapter in the next chapter lesson. Okay. Okay. Any question? No. Okay. Let's stop the thing already.